will be at their seats. The clerk has opened the roll. You may record your presence. Please rise and give your attention to our guest chaplain, Neil Hansen, Topeka Stake President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a guest to Representative Owens, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Representative Hoy.
Our dearest Heavenly Father, in this gathering of duly elected legislatures and representatives, may we in humility express our gratitude for the awesome sustaining trust given to this body by the people of this state in order to enact laws for the good and safety of the people throughout the land, consistent with our pursuit of peace and harmony. We are grateful for the kindness and caring of individuals, both to neighbors and to strangers alike. We are grateful for health and strength to accomplish the charge before us. And we express our thanks to Thee for the opportunities to serve each other. As we pray, may we bless each one of us that we may rise higher and achieve more than our natural abilities would normally dictate. May we choose to react in our best manner to others in kindness and in meekness. Please protect us from evil. In the name of the Savior, Jesus Christ, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't know if I could get in a space.
Has every member had the opportunity to record their presence? The clerk will close the roll and record the attendance. Introductions of bills and concurrent resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2712 by the Committee on Appropriations, an act establishing the Kansas Commission for the United States semi-quincentennial as part of the Department of Commerce, prescribing commission membership, responsibility, meetings, and expiration, creating the Kansas Commission for the United States Gifts and Donations Fund. House Bill number 2713 by the Committee on Appropriations, an act concerning retirement and pensions, relating the Kansas Police and Firemen's Retirement System, affiliating for membership for certain security officers of the Department of Corrections and certain law enforcement officers and employees of the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks, establishing employee and employer contributions.
The body be at ease for a bit. the weather. We are going to hold final action to later in the session, or excuse me, later than this time slot we're in now. But we're going to move on to general orders, and then allow some of our folks that are trying to get here to be here, and then we'll hold all final action until right after general orders. The chair recognizes Majority Leader for a motion to resolve into the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the purpose of considering those items under the heading of general orders.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The chair appoints Representative Auerkamp, the chair of the Committee of the Whole.
Good morning. The first item of business is House Bill 2540. For the purpose of carrying House Bill 2540, the chair recognizes Representative Dodson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise before the body to present House Bill 2540. There were no committee amendments. The bill was introduced by the House Veterans and Military Committee. It was done at the request of several organizations to include the Kansas Military Council, the VFW, and the American Legion. And I sincerely appreciate all those who signed on as co-signers both in this body and in the Senate. House Bill 2540 is a request to authorize the emplacement of a Gold Star Family Memorial on the south grounds of our state capitol. There is no fiscal impact. It will be done all with private funding, and the fund will be established in the Treasurer's office for all these transactions to come in and go out of. This same bill, Senate Bill 330, passed the Senate 40-0. The purpose of this memorial is to provide a lasting memorial honoring the Gold Star families of Kansas. The memorial will be located on the South Capitol grounds in the middle of the Veterans Walkway between the first and second flower beds. If you look out there, out the south windows, you can see the monuments that exist today. This memorial will be consistent with those other monuments on the south grounds. It's simple and very powerful. It'll be a granite pedestal approximately 4 feet tall and 2 feet on each side, with a slanted top to receive a brass plaque. This brass plaque on the top will read, "Dedicated by the grateful citizens of the state of Kansas in honor of those Gold Star families and relatives who sacrificed a loved one for our liberties and freedom." We'll also have a Gold Star pin located above the citation. The memorial conforms to all the requirements of the Capitol. The cost will be approximately $8,000. Again, as I said, fundraising will be private with no cost to any taxpayer. The granite monument and the plaque have been identified and will be sourced here in Kansas. A federal law is pending which will establish a Gold Star Recognition Day in the month of September. We are on schedule to be completed well before that date, and I hope all of you can join us as we unveil the monument in September. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Does any member desire to speak to the bill? To speak to the bill, the chair recognizes Representative Weigel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to reiterate the other speakers' comments. It's a very good bill. No tax money will be expended, and it'll be a beautiful memorial that we can all be proud of. On a more personal note, my mother is a Gold Star family member. Her youngest brother was killed in action in World War II, so means a little bit more to me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And to speak to the bill, the chair recognizes Representative Poskin.
Is that working? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 5 days before Christmas in 1972, Major Warren Spencer, better known to me as Christy and Wendy's daddy, was shot down over Hanoi in his B-52, piloted by Captain Terry Glonick. Their daddy never came home, and his remains were returned in 1977. You can read more about him on the flyer. We say the whole family serves, and in loss, the whole military family grieves and honors the fallen, as you can tell by my cracking voice now, so many years later. Thank you to the General and the good representative from Manhattan for HB 2540 to honor our Kansas Gold Star families. I am a proud co-sponsor of HB 2540 and rise in support. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? If there is no further discussion, Representative Dodson, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that when the body rises to report, it reports House Bill 2540, favorable for passage. Thank you.
You've heard the motion by Representative Dodson to report House Bill 2540 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is House Bill 2458. For the purpose of carrying House Bill 2458, the chair recognizes Representative Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There were no committee reports. House Bill 2458 would designate a portion of U.S. Highway 56 from the northeastern city limits of Edgerton in Johnson County, then northeast to the southeastern city limits of Gardner in Johnson County as the PFC Private First Class Shane Austin Memorial Highway. On October 8, 2006, Army Private First Class Shane Austin of Edgerton, Kansas, was serving in Iraq with Alpha Company, 1st Battalion of the 35th Armored Regiment when he was killed by an enemy grenade. For his heroism, PFC Austin was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart and the Bronze Star. At the time of his tragic but heroic death, I was a resident of Edgerton, and Shane's father, Terry, was one of my many friends in the community. Terry has since passed on, but I still have a number of friends in that area. As would be expected, Terry was heartbroken to lose his son, but he was also proud of his hero, as were Shane's mother, Debbie, and the rest of his family. The residents of Edgerton have suffered a loss, as well as Shane's former teachers and classmates at Gardner Edgerton High School. I introduced House Bill 2458, along with the representative from Gardner and the representative from Leavenworth, to honor this young hero who, through his heroism, demonstrated many of the ideals that the people of Kansas are known for. Patriotism, loyalty, and duty are just a few. For this reason, I ask for your vote for House Bill 2458 to name U.S. Highway 56 between Edgerton and Gardner the PFC Shane Austin Memorial Highway, and thank you for considering this bill. With that, I stand for questions.
Does any member wish to speak to the bill? To speak to the bill, the chair recognizes Representative Helgerson.
Mr. Chairman, I rise in support of the bill, but I also just want to make a comment. After being in this House for 25 years, I initially thought that these bills are just the automatic things we do. But really, this is about the most important, the most sacred things that we have in this state, and how young men and women decide to give their lives for this country. We do something very simple, and that is honor them with the dedication of part of a road or some other way. But all you have to do is sit in that committee and listen to the families tell how their loved ones made a decision to give everything for this country, everything for us, and you're touched. As you can tell, I'm still touched. So while we come together and pass a little bit of a road for them, road that we don't pay for, a road that's paid for by volunteer money, we should all bless this family and bless the individuals that gave the ultimate sacrifice. And keep that in mind every time we do this.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? If there is no further discussion, Representative Collins, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to thank the representative for his remarks. So, Mr. Chair, I move that when the committee rises and reports, it reports House Bill 2458 favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Collins to report House Bill 2458 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is House Bill 2476. For the purpose of carrying House Bill 2476, the chair recognizes Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There were no amendments. Bronze Star and Silver Star dates back originally to World War I for the Silver Star, World War II for the Bronze. In this state, we do not have a license plate that properly recognizes those achievements. On the awards itself, it says it is a signal for sacrifice, bravery, and honor while serving their country. How many people still have those? I didn't know the answer this morning. Roughly 150,000 Silver Stars have been issued since World War I. Of the Bronze Star, 30,000 from Korea, Vietnam, about 720. And since September 11th in the Middle East, approximately 3,500, roughly the same number of deaths in Afghanistan and Iraq. Now, the bill is pretty simple. It costs approximately $7,000 to design these plates. Previously, all we had were little stickers that would go up in the corner. Clearly not fitting for the work that these people have done. Our proponents included Major Robert Warren Oliver, a helicopter pilot for multiple deployments, Command Sergeant Major Larry Joe Powell, and myself on behalf of my two sons who served 3 terms each in the Middle East in combat, and both are now honored with Bronze Stars for valor. The cost of the tag itself will be borne by those who receive it by simply proving on their DD-214s that they have that. I really believe that this is a continuance of the first 2 bills you've already heard this morning, and I would stand for questions.
Does any member wish to speak to the bill? The chair recognizes Representative Helgerson.
I rise in support of the bill. And as one legislator mentioned to me a few minutes ago, they were surprised that I had a heart. And those in Appropriation Committee understand that. I couldn't speak better of this bill. I urge you to support it.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? There's no further discussion. Representative Johnson, you may close.
Sacrifice without remembrance is meaningless. Mr. Chair, I move that when the committee rise and reports it, report House Bill 2476 favorably for passage.
You've heard the motion by Representative Johnson to report House Bill 2476 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. The next item of business is House Bill 2478. For the purpose of carrying House Bill 2478, the chair recognizes Representative Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise before the body to present House Bill 2478. There are no amendments. So this bill would appoint a portion of the U.S. Highway 166 from South Haven, where Sergeant Evan Parker grew up and his family still owns property, to the western city limits of Ark City. He was awarded a Purple Heart for his service in Operation Iraqi Freedom. I could go on, and again, another Gold Star family. His mother was here to give witness and testimony, Anita Dixon. I would point you to goldstarfamiliesregister.com. If you'd like more information, just type his name in there. There is just a tremendous amount of information about his background, his service. And so we get to the fiscal note. Fiscal note was, again, $4,590, which pays for the signs. His family's going to take care of that. So with that, I would stand for questions.
Does any member wish to speak to the bill? To speak to the bill, the chair recognizes Representative Helgerson.
I also stand in strong support of the bill.
Is there further discussion? To speak to the bill, the chair recognizes Representative Mosier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last year, this body approved a signage for a 4-mile stretch of highway in my district up between the small communities of Waterville and Blue Rapids to honor 2 Vietnam veterans that were killed in action. They were in their early 20s. And the day that we had that dedication on November 13th, it was a Saturday morning, and I can't begin to tell you what those families, the gratitude that they felt, and the communities of Waterville and Blue Rapids. So, like Representative Helgerson said, you get a little teary once in a while when you really truly support something, but all of these this morning are wonderful pieces of legislation, and I encourage your support for this last one as you did the other 3. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any further discussion on the bill? There's no further discussion. Representative Riley, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would move that when the body rises to report, they report House Bill 2478 favorably for passage. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You've heard the motion by Representative Riley to report House Bill 2478 favorably. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. Motion passes. This concludes our general orders. The chair recognizes the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
You've heard the motion to rise and report. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes.
Clerk will read the committee report.
Mr. Speaker, your committee of the whole recommends House Bills 2540, 2458, 2476, and 2478 be passed.
Speaker recognizes Representative Arcamp.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the adoption of the committee of the whole report.
You've heard the motion to adopt the committee report. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion is adopted. Reports of standing committees, the clerk will read.
Committee on Corrections and Juvenile Justice recommends House Bill 2674 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Corrections and Juvenile Justice recommends House Bill 2657 be amended, the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Financial Institutions and Rural Development recommends House Bill 2268 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Transportation recommends House Bill 2595 be passed. Committee on Transportation recommends House Bill 2596 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Insurance and Pensions recommends House Bill 2547 be amended, the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Insurance and Pensions recommends House Bill 2110 be amended, the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Insurance and Pensions recommends House Bill 2561 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Insurance and Pensions recommends House Bill 2510 be passed. Committee on Insurance and Pensions recommends House Bill 2481 be passed. Committee on Agriculture recommends House Bill 2530 be passed. Committee on Agriculture recommends House Bill 2563 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Transportation recommends House Bill 2628 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Education recommends House Bill 2505 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Transportation recommends House Bill 2633 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Committee on Taxation recommends Senate Bill 318 be amended by substituting a new bill to be designated as House Substitute for Senate Bill number 318 as follows. An act concerning sales and compensating use tax relating to exemptions, providing an exemption for reconstructing, repairing, or replacing certain fencing damaged or destroyed by a wildfire, flood, tornado, or other natural disaster. Committee on K-12 Education Budget recommends House Bill 2512 be amended by substituting a new bill to be designated as substitute for House Bill number 2512 as follows. An act concerning virtual schools, establishing an alternative method for calculating graduation rates for purposes of accreditation, prohibiting virtual schools from offering or providing any financial incentive to entice a student to enroll, authorizing virtual school state aid for students who are credit deficient and have dropped out of school, and the substitute bill be passed. Committee on Education recommends House Bill 2466 be amended by substituting a new bill to be designated for substitute House Bill number 2466 as follows. An act concerning education, enacting the Promoting Advancement in Computing Knowledge Act, relating to computer science courses of instruction in high schools, establishing the Computer Science Education Program, authorizing scholarship awards to licensed and pre-service teachers taking computer science courses, and the substitute bill be passed. Committee on Calendar and Printing recommends on requests for resolutions and certificates that requests by Representative Dodson be approved and the Chief Clerk of the House be directed to order the printing of said certificates and the drafting of said resolution.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader to adopt the calendar and printing report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move adoption of the calendar and printing report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. The body obedies. Final action on bills and current resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill number 2560 by the Committee on Agriculture, an act concerning agriculture relating to the Kansas Department of Agriculture, extending certain penalties, fees, and program expiration dates.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2560. The clerk will open roll. You may record your vote. Roll still open. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? Representative Sutton votes aye. Any further changes? With 101 voted in favor, 11 against the passage of House Bill 2560, the same having received a constant majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. Clerk will record the vote. Final action, clerk will read.
House Bill number 2591 by the Committee on Appropriations, an act concerning the State Corporation Commission relating to certain fund transfers to the Abandoned Oil and Gas Well Fund.
Wrong bill number. Can't you just read the HCR? Final action on House Bill 2591, the clerk will read. Just read it again.
House Bill 2591 by the Committee on Appropriations, an act concerning the State Corporation Commission relating to certain fund transfers to the Abandoned Oil and Gas Well Fund.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2591. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? Representative Lee votes aye. Representative Owsley votes aye. For the changes. With 112 voted in favor and 0 against, passes of House Bill 2591, the same have received a constant majority. The bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action on bills and current resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Concurrent Resolution number 5014 by the Committee on Appropriations, a proposition to amend Article 1 of the Constitution of the State of Kansas by adding a new section thereto concerning oversight by the legislature of certain executive branch actions.
This constitutes final action on HCR 5014. The clerk will open roll and you may record your vote. Final action, members will be in their seats. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Representative Eric Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I vote in favor of HCR 5014. NCSL reports 28 states who have some type of authority to review and veto certain administrative rules set by bureaucracies. Yet to hear tell from many yesterday, the Kansas House is inventing an excuse to attack a governor when we try to provide that same oversight. We are the lawmaking body. We have that absolute obligation. When bureaucracies pass rules and regulations that have the same power and standing of law, we must be able to address them. It is our duty to the people we represent.
Seeing the fans calls an order. Change of vote? Representative with more votes? No? Seeing 10 hands, I call so in order. Representative Jacobs can be excused. Representative Burris may be excused. Seeing 10 hands, a call is still in order. Representative Owsley can be excused. Representative Curtis, excuse me, Representative Neighbors, apologize. Representative, as for a explanation of vote, Representative Heiberger.
Mr. Speaker, there is already a thorough review process for our rules and regulations, including a review by the Attorney General to ensure that the agency has not exceeded its statutory authority. If someone still believes that the agency has exceeded its authority, the regulations are subject to judicial review, or they may be overruled by a bill in the legislature. This resolution is just more election year grandstanding. I vote no. Representative Heiberger.
Representative Alcala votes no. Representative Finch votes no. The call is raised. Any other further changes? 80 voted in favor, 33 against, 8 CR 5014. The same having not received a constitutional majority of the bills hereby declared lost. The clerk will record the vote. Chair recognizes Majority Hawkins for a motion for the EFA.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to House Rule 2311, I move that an emergency be declared and that House Bill 2540, House Bill 2458, House Bill 2476, and House Bill 2478 be advanced to that order of business. Final action on bills and concurrent resolutions.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Final action, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2540 by Representatives Dodson, Alcala, and others, an act authorizing the construction of a permanent memorial honoring Kansas Gold Star families on the state capitol grounds, establishing the Kansas Gold Star Families Memorial Fund.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2540. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? Representative Smith votes aye. Representative Mason votes aye. Further changes? Representative Francis votes aye. Representative Schmidt votes aye. Any further changes? Seeing none, Representative Lee votes aye. With 113 in favor and 0 against the passage of House Bill 2540, the same had received a constitutional majority. The bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2458 by Representatives Collins, Proctor, and Sutton, an act concerning roads and highways, designating a portion of U.S. Highway 56 as the PFC Shane Austin Memorial Highway.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2458. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? 113 voted in favor and 0 against the passage of House Bill 2458. The same have received a constitutional majority. The bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2476 by Representatives Johnson, Ellis, and others, an act concerning motor vehicles relating to distinctive license plates, providing for the Silver Star Medal and Bronze Star Medal distinctive license plates.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2476. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? Representative Clayton votes aye. Representative Jacobs votes aye. With 112 voted in favor and 0 against the passage of House Bill 2476, the same have received a constitutional majority. The bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Final action, the clerk will read.
House Bill number 2478 by Representative Riley, an act concerning roads and highways, designating a portion of U.S. Highway 166 as the Sergeant Evan S. Parker Memorial Highway.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2478. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had the opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? With 113 voted in favor, 0 against, the passage of House Bill 2478, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Reports of standing committees, the clerk will read.
Committee on Agriculture recommends House Bill 2559 be amended. The bill be passed as amended.
Other announcements? Representative Riley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On my desk back there, desk number 90, I have a proclamation for March 17th for the St. Patrick's Day. So if you have a Irish background, or you just love the green, or you just enjoy celebrating Irish Day, I'd appreciate your signature to proclaim St. Patrick's Day on March 17th. Thank you.
Representative Hoskins replaced Representative Henderson on the House Health and Human Services for Thursday, February 17th only. Representative Featherston will replace Representative Burrows on House Commerce on Thursday, February 17th only. Representative Stocksdale will replace Representative Reese on Commerce on Thursday, February 17th only. Representative Howerton will replace Representative Hubert on the House Committee of K-12 Budget for February 17th only. Majority Leader Hawkins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House adjourn until Friday, February 18th at...
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned.